Hi, and welcome to Happy Cat Adventure. Today we will talk about sailing budget, how much does it cost to live on the boat, and why is the sailing so damn expensive. Christmas is coming and I have some presents for you, like, for example, this, or here I have on my table also this. And what is this all about? You will know as soon as you will watch this video till the end. And in the end, I'm going to present you my formula, which I have elaborated after living 1 year on the boat. And by this formula, you can very easy estimate exactly your costs if you would live on the boat. Because many people talk about different costs. Someone say it's about 10%. How much would you spend? How much would you spend for the repairs and maintenance? And I see clearly that you don't have to go from $100 till $10,000 because everyone says it can be very differently. But I know how you exactly can estimate your cost on the boat. And this is very easy. So watch this video till the very end. And sorry for this noise because it's very windy outside. And if you are going to be on the sailing boat, doesn't matter if you are going to own it or rent it, I have one advice to you straightforward. Guys, there are for sure some do's and don'ts in sailing, and I'm going to make a separate video about this. But just now I have occasion to show you one of the don'ts. So you never ever put your halyards in the way that they can slam against the mast with a huge noise when it's windy, because the other fellow boaters will have this noise all the day, even in the night or early in the morning, and that's not polite. Look at this. So please don't do like this. Don't leave your halyards this way. So I have to hide because it's so noisy outside. So guys, don't do this mistake. It's terrible. For example, now I hardly can take this video, but I will do for sure. I'm certain not only me wants this boat to be burned in this marina, because everyone is hearing this. Okay guys, having said this, let's get straight to business. Are you ready? Then full speed ahead. I'm Oleg, this is Marina, and Nika. We are Ukrainian family who did unimaginable. We sold everything to escape the war destroying our country and purchased a sailing boat to turn it into a new floating home. Jumping in the unknown, we promised ourselves to be always happy on our catamaran. Subscribe and get on board in journey around the world on this Happy Cat Adventure. Okay guys, now we are at Tenerife Island, which is Canary archipelago, and we came here from Greece, where we bought our boat around a year ago, and we did this whole passage through the whole Mediterranean to have a winter here, because this is the only one place where you can really stay warm in the winter in Mediterranean. So living this year on the boat, we had enough time to have a different repairs, maintenances, to speak to other fellow boaters, to spend money on provisioning, on the different lifestyles, see how the other liveaboard families doing their budget. And this all summarized in the different ideas which I'm going to share with you about the living on the boat budget and what can you do if you want to keep it lower. Let's start with the general and then move to the specific. In one very good book I have read that you should never try to understand why is the sailing or boating is so expensive, because it's like luxury goods. You never will understand why the Gucci bag costs a couple of €1,000. It's just like it is. And as some other different and very expensive hobbies, you will never understand it. But I don't agree with this. So I have tried within the last year by different occasions to understand why is the boating so expensive. And first of all, we have to look how the price mechanism work. And there are different factors. Not going deep into this, first of all, there is a cost plus margin effect. So it depends how much does it cost to produce something and how much margin does everyone want to earn on it. The second factor is the supply and demand. And the third factor are many different like information transparencies, like transactional costs and so on. So let's start by the cost. And in this regards, producing the sailboats and boats is expensive. Why is it? Because unfortunately the producers cannot get the economies of scale. They cannot make boats in the mass production. For example, I have found the information that in US there are 590,000 boats over the 26 feet. So there are about 600,000 boats registered in the US. However, there are 276 million cars registered in the US in the same year. What does it give us? This gives us the understanding that there are almost 500 times more cars than the boats. And that's really why the producers of the boats cannot get the leverage, cannot get the mass production effects. Like they cannot build conveyors, they cannot buy cheap supplies because they don't have enough power, they don't buy enough of the supplies to the production. They cannot have standardization and robotics and other many different things which have the mass producers like cars or any other mass production companies. Because almost every boat is different and you have to pay much attention to the production process. It doesn't go everything smoothly and it's very labor intensive and time consuming to produce one boat. So simply it cannot be done cheaply on the production side, unfortunately. Then let's go to the supply and demand factors. Sadly, but in the last years, because for example of the coronavirus epidemic situation, everyone wanted to buy the boat and live on the boat because there was not much to do, especially at home. Finally, now because of the war and the huge inflation, also everyone wants to put his money into something just because if the money stays on the bank, it simply burns. So everyone wants to invest in something. So that's why the signs are also not good for the cheap sailing, because everyone wants to buy a sailboat. And last but not least, transparency and transaction costs. You don't have much transparency in this market because there are so many brokers on the market and no one wants to tell you the truth. Buying our sailboat in Greece, we met many brokers and I would say 1 of 10 could be the nice guy. The otherwise wanted just to sell you the boat with as less efforts as possible. And the boat is very complex product, so you have to have a lot of information about each one you are looking at. And it's very difficult to get. So it is not the transparent market. And the transaction costs are huge. Just imagine, we spent about 3 months actively looking for our boats. It means traveling, living in the hotels and different places, meeting people, renting cars, etc., etc. And also, when we found our dream boat, we would still have to pay lawyers, surveyors, lifting, etc., etc., etc. So in totally, the whole purchase process costed us about 10,000 euro. And only the half of it was for living and traveling. The second half was for different sales following processes. So it's a huge transaction cost. If you compare, like you are going to buy a car tomorrow, you will spend maybe maximum 1 day and you will just sign a couple of papers, maybe pay some small amount for the registration and taxes. And I didn't yet told about the registration cost and insurance. So overall, transaction costs are just dramatic. Having said all this, now we have been talking about the cost side, about supply and demand side, and about the transaction and information transparency. And all these factors, unfortunately, are not for the cheap sailboats and boats. However, we can go in details of different aspects of maintenance and different spare parts and works on the sailboat. And on the one side, I will tell you why it cannot be cheap, but on the other side, it shouldn't be so damn expensive. So let's go into details where I will tell you why it cannot be cheap, but at least I can also tell you where you can save some money by not buying the shitty products. And that's where the fun begins. Let's go! In this video we are talking mostly about the maintenance cost and the cost of life aboard. But if you want me to make the video about the cost of purchasing the boat, that would be another topic for another video, and I will gladly do this because we had a wonderful experience in Greece buying our boat. And just to give you the context for the future, we are located mostly in Mediterranean Sea, living on our Lagoon 450. So talking about the maintenance, it has mostly two value parts, which is spare parts and labor. Labor in boat repairs can be expensive and very expensive. And this is incredible. We had, I guess, enough repairs on this boat because we did also some upgrades and repairs. And there were many repairmen on the boat. But after hearing their tariffs, I thought that they at least drive a Mercedes and have a Rolex on their hand. But it wasn't the case. So they don't seem to earn so much money, maybe because they don't have the work every day. But there are still two types of workmen which I could discover. First type are the guys who want to deceive you, who want to fool you and just to get your money. They are like some taxi drivers 10 years ago at the airport or at the train station. They can have only one client per day, but they drive you for such a huge amount of money that you will remember them till the end of your life. I'm sure you had some cases like this, and I will give you even more. For example, while boat buying process, I required some legal advice. And that would be one, maximum 2 pages of text which I required. And I have contacted some lawyers in Germany and was writing to them some questions and hello, how are you, and all the stuff. And I was getting just a straight answer. No, nothing special, just one sentence. It will cost you 3,000 euro. Punkt. That's all. But after this, making some research in internet, I have found the answer for my question. It was like spending 2 hours in internet and reading different opinions and different stuff. So for 2 hours, me as a person not specialized on law, to find out the answer, which I would simply pay 3,000 euros, it's too much, really. And I was working with different lawyers before, and I can say that indeed maritime lawyers are much more expensive. So my advice to you, if you have some question which would engage the lawyer or which would engage some legal advice, I would not go directly to maritime lawyers. I would try the standard lawyers, try to search the answer yourself, and just go to the maritime lawyers if you have no other chance where to go, because that will be unfortunately damn expensive. The second example was regarding the boat registration, and to give you some context, actually in Mediterranean you can stay here for 18 months and don't pay VAT. So generally you can buy a boat with no paid VAT, which will decrease your purchase cost around 20%, because the VAT is 20%. So you can buy a boat with no VAT paid, never, and you still will not need to pay the VAT, but there are some implications and some requirements to do this. And one of these requirements is to have non-European Union flag and registration. So there are many companies offering this service in Mediterranean region, and I applied to one of these companies. It was in Ukraine. It's actually a very famous company, and I was writing, guys, I need a registration. Which flags do you register? What are the conditions? How do you proceed? How much time it will take? Again, couple of questions. Answer killed me because there was not even hello. They wrote 8,500 euro. Not saying which flag it would be, not saying how much time it will, just 8,500 euro for 10 years. They didn't write this. I was finding out later that it was for 10 years, because you have normally registration costs every year. So you pay some amount in the beginning, which is maybe a little bit bigger, and then you pay annually some price, some costs, and summarizing these costs, I had made the Excel table comparing all these offers which I was applying. So I asked about 6 or 7 companies how much would it cost to register the boat in the non-EU country, which would be, for example, Britain or Panama or BVI. And the answer were from 32,000 euro, which is the same as dollar. Actually, dollar and euro is currently 1-to-1. So you have for $1, you have €1. So the same price it would be in dollars. So from 32,000 euros for 10 years of registration to $7,500 for 10-year registration and flag. This is a huge difference. So the second advice would be, don't go to the one shop. Always ask at least five different workers, 5 different shops, 5 different, lawyers, 5 different companies. If you want to buy something, never 5 different insurance companies, never buy at one, because the difference is huge. 32,000 euro for my boat to register, it would be like 3,200 euro per year. It's huge amount just to registration. I found out later that that we would rather register something like Russian oligarchs, so no one can know who is the boat owner, because they will ground the company and the other company on this company, and the register in this country is very close. But doesn't matter. I don't need it. Why? They know my boat. They know that this is not super yacht. I'm not a Russian oligarch. So anyway. And finally, what I did, I searched on the internet again for, I would say, a month. Okay, it took me a month, not every day, of course, but roughly, 2 hours per day, like in a month, with different conversation and so on. And I simply, finally, because I didn't want even to pay 7,500, because I was feeling that I can do it much better. And finally, I did it for 3,000 euro for 10 years myself online, without the problem. And this might be the second example how in the sailing market for anything you will be fooled and just overpriced. Because someone would get an offer for $20,000 for registration for 10 years and will pay it. And the difference between, $32,000 or $20,000 and $3,000 is huge, simply huge. The other example where you would be fooled is yacht brokers. And I guess you can write many books from sailors about the yacht brokers and brokerage in this market. And I'm not against the brokers, because somewhere in the real estate business, for example, they do really their job, not always, but more frequent. But here in the boating, this is just a disaster. And one of the many examples, I'm sure I will make a huge video about the buying process of our boat and how we have avoided brokers everywhere we could. But one of the examples, as we were still in the process, I have contacted one USA-based, quite known broker who has his own channel, and he was talking that he can send me some lists with the boats, with the prices for last 5 years, free of charge. And I asked myself, why not? Maybe this could be the way, because the market is overheated and maybe I get some proposals. And I contacted him, and he sent me these lists from the past about the past deals with the different boats, and there were models and prices. And there I had a feeling that the prices are about 15 to 30% higher than I was estimating the market price. So from 13 to 30%, it's quite a lot. I don't know if it was an intention, I don't think so, but maybe because of different market and the different situation, the prices were higher, and much higher than we finally bought our sailboat. And I started to talk to him, and he said, you should never ever go to Italy or Greece or other European countries, because the market is so difficult there. You will spend months in registration process. You will lose money. There is no professional market. This is very difficult. Let's go to Florida, and here is a good market. Let's go to Caribbean, and this is where you can buy a good boat. Well, looking back, I guess this was not very honest, because I understand he is based in US and he could sell only the boats which were close to him, avoiding the travel costs, and no one would normally pay the travel costs for in this case. I mean, not just going around the corner, it's a huge flight and hotel and so on. So I guess this was not really honest, because in the end of the day, we did bought our boat in Greece, and there was so many offers in Greece. And the market for sailboats is not more complicated than in US, I'm really sure. It is complicated in general, but everywhere. So I don't think you should buy a boat somewhere where it's more easy and the makler says you it is more easy. It is not. You should buy the boat where you are located and where it is close to buy the boat, and not going somewhere far, far away where you can see something which doesn't reflect the pictures which were sent to you before. So this is another nice life example. And finally, apotheosis in the not honest approach in the labor and services happened to us as we were buying our boat, and the surveyor have invited the technician, the motor technician, because normally the surveyor, when you are buying a yacht, doesn't know much about the engine, so you have to invite the special guy for it. And I invited him, and I was showing within this process that I'm not the expert in engines, which maybe was a mistake for me. But in the end of the day, he said, okay, the engines are good, which I know before because our engines had only 700 engine hours. So imagine the 10 years old boat like ours, normally in charter would have at least 3,500 engine hours on it, but most probably over 4,000 engine hours. And our had only 700 engine hours, which was nothing. I opened the box and I saw the engine is almost new. So the guy said to me, okay, the engine is almost new. I said, very well, but we have to make some annual maintenance, which is also normal. I said, very nice, okay. But look, he said, the engine hours are low, but we still have to do 10 years maintenance, because you have maintenance on the engine hours and you have maintenance which is calculated on years. So depending on years, you have also some maintenance. I said, okay, send me the quotation. And he sent me the quotation. And the quotation for maintenance for 2-engine Yanmar engine, 50 horsepower, was almost $10,000, which was incredible amount. I said, I was thinking, you must be kidding. This is a shot in our financial knee. So I talked to the friend of mine who is in Greece having his own charter company. I said, look, how much does this cost to have a maintenance of 2 engines? And he said, okay, I pay normally $1,500 for 2 engines. And I said, okay, why does this guy want me to pay 10,000? And I called him and said, oh, well, okay, to repair your engines, I have to bring the crane. The crane will take out your engines, put them on the truck. With the truck, I will go to my workshop. I will take out these engines in my workshop and take them apart almost completely, then make them back, and this whole story, and bring them back with a crane, put it inside. I said, why you should take them outside? And he said, you know why? And then started to explain. And finally, in the end of the day, I was understanding that these guys like to work in warm. It was winter in Greece, but still quite cold. He wants to work in warm. He wants to do the things he wants to do. And he doesn't want to do which I really need. So if you show, this is advice number 3 or 4, I don't remember anymore. But if you want not to be conned on the prices, don't show you are the newbie in any aspect of the maritime life, because if the repairman will see that you are newbie, you will be double and triple priced for sure. Well, those were some life examples about the repairmen who are not honest. Let's talk about the ones who are honest and who can really do a good job. And there are some on the market, but unfortunately they are always busy. I met guys who were really handy, who were really professional, who did the extremely good job, like very nice, clean, set up, almost factory work. But if you ask them, okay, can you come tomorrow? They say, oh, no, not really. I can come in 3 months. So unfortunately, because these guys are so required, they also cost money, but not as much money as you would pay meeting the guy who wants to fool you. And one more advice which comes to my mind. If you asking someone to give you a quote on some repairs on something, or to sell you something for your boat, never ever tell you which boat do you have, because they're always asking which boat do you have. And if you have a big boat, they will tell you a big price. And if you have a small boat and old boat, they will tell you a different price. This happened in 50% of the cases. So if you have relatively normal sized boat, not a 20-footer or something, if you have normal sized boat and the boat is not 30 years old, don't tell them which boat you have, because they will think you have a lot of money and you have to pay. Let's move on. One of the other essential parts of the maintenance costs are, of course, spare parts. And again, there are things which are very expensive just expensive, and maybe if you are lucky, they are normally priced. What is normally priced? So if you can apply something which suits into your boat, not from the boat life, not from the marine market, not from this marine, environment, you will get a good price. For example, if your engine is used somewhere else, don't go to marine shop to buy a fuel filter. If you find this fuel filter somewhere on the regular car market, you will get a normal price, because filter for your engine in marine shop will cost $30 and in normal shop it will cost $5. Just go to the normal shop. Lights, if you find something which is waterproof, which is good quality and so on, if you find something on normal market, go on the normal market and buy it 5 times cheaper. Really. Don't buy anything in marine market what you can buy on the standard market. Of course, if the quality is the same, if this is the same product. Because it happens also that you buy something in the normal market, but this is a lower quality and you will get no use of it on your boat because in 1 week it's destroyed. And for example, that happened to me. I have bought this jig in the normal market, and this is just a normal jig, but it's supposed to be in the water. But look at this, how much rust it has on it. Just a second, the focus will found it. Yes, it's so much rust, and it haven't even been in the water. It was hanging under my solar panels all the time on the road, but I cannot use it. Okay, it costed $5, but the quality is just so bad. This product is not for the maritime conditions, so don't do a mistake. Don't spend your money on the products which doesn't have a quality. The other example would be this multi-tool. Look at this. I was putting it in this paper because it was so dirty. This multi-tool is only 2 months old. I paid for this around $60. This is a company on Amazon, and it was said this is a stainless steel. And it is stainless steel, but I learned also, and this is a good experience, that stainless steel can be different quality. And the way you can measure the quality of the stainless steel is a magnet. Okay, there are some rare stainless steel existing which can be also applied to the magnet, but it's really rare and very expensive, so you will not find it on the regular market. So I will take this screw. This is a stainless screw, a maritime screw to the magnet. This magnet is for knives. You know, you can put here knives on this magnet in the kitchen, and I'm going to apply it soon. So if you take the stainless steel to the magnet, it doesn't hold. So it doesn't magnet in any way. It's just nothing. It does come off. It's not magnetized at all. So, but here, if you take this multi-tool and try to magnet it, it's holding. So it might be the stainless steel, but it's not a marine grade stainless steel. So I just threw away $60 for nothing. And it's not a lot of money, but it's not very cheap. So normally, if you would buy the good quality multi-tool, which will hold, and I did my research, which will hold the maritime conditions, the sea conditions, which is salt, water, humidity all the time, that would cost $150 and more. So this is another example also to save money, because maybe next time I think I don't need a multi-tool for $150 and I don't spend less than this because there is no use in it. I will just lose my money. Another example, what you should not do. I went to the DIY supermarket and bought these 2 locks. This is normal lock for outside. Actually, it was written for the outside, and it's supposed to be very durable and so on. It cost $8. But look what happened. Through the galvanization, I had to cut it off, another one to make it open. Through the galvanization and corrosion, it melted completely to the one piece. Look at this. You cannot do something. It was a code lock, but now it's not anymore. So the lock which would stand out the maritime condition would cost $20, which is made of real stainless steel, good quality. And here I have other example of not good quality product, but expensive product. So I would consider this as a cheating. This rope comes from my old dinghy, and the dinghy was like 4 years old. Normally you would expect the rope like this holds longer than 4 years. But look what has happened. Due to the sun, salt and extreme conditions, this what happened to this rope. And look, it is still looking like good. I hope the focus will catch it. It looks still okay. Yes, focus now catched it. It looks still okay. looks still like it can hold something, it can do its function. But look what is really worse. Op! So it's just rotted, it's just degraded. Now I have to take the hoover to clean up this whole mess. And here is another example. Okay guys, there is something which I want to show you. This is hatch blinds. So what it is? It's kind of, I don't know, some kind of plastic things which from one side can protect you from mosquitoes and other insects, and from the other side, if you pull it, it's sunshade. So this is a good quality product because it has to last more than 10 years against all the environmental aggressive elements and from different hands who try to break it, and it's worth its money, but still it's quite expensive. Just imagine how much the spare parts like this would cost new. Amazing, $400. Just a piece of plastic, but you know it has to last, and I would say it's worth its money. And now we go outside for another topic, and we will take the magnet with us, and this is an example how not to do. And I will show you. There was so many times I tried to save some money buying the products which are not worth it, and this is amazing. This is exactly it. I hope that the wind will allow us to make a good video. So here we are. This is our barbecue. Let's open it. I have made enclosure because otherwise it has a problem which I'll show you now. So, I was thinking actually, I have to fight that my enclosure will not fly away. Okay, fly away. I will better talk here inside because the wind is so strong and then you will not hear anything. So, back here is our barbecue. I was thinking, damn, this size barbecue, professional one for marine use, is from Magma, cost about $700. Amazing. I mean, for the barbecue, $700. No way I'm paying it. And I was thinking, I'm very clever, of course, and I was thinking, I buy from the stainless steel, again, the stainless steel, I will buy the barbecue from USA, barbecue for outdoor, of course, and I did it, and it costed me $350 on Amazon or eBay, including the transportation cost here to Europe, and look what happened. So it is still a nice barbecue. You have here logs. Okay, you have here temperature. You have here inside everything you need to have. Looks very nice, but you have rust here. Here everywhere is rust. Look what happened. And this is outdoor barbecue. It doesn't look like outdoor. Everywhere you can see this is rust. Here a lot of rust, small parts, and some, I don't know, there are some dots and points everywhere, black ones, and I covered this barbecue already many times with a special stuff which is to protect it against the rust. But anyway, look. And you cannot imagine how it looked before. As I just installed it, next week it was completely brown. Completely. It was amazing. Just amazing. So, and now I understand I should buy, of course, professional marine grade stainless steel Magma grill, because this is not stainless steel at all. Maybe, or this is very, very low and cheap stainless steel. You see, the magnet is working very well on it. And if I take the magnet here, for example, it doesn't hold at all. There is no way. Absolutely. So, this is not stainless steel, unfortunately. And next time I would buy something like this, I would pay double, but I go for a professional one, unfortunately. So guys, don't do my mistakes. There are also products which are expensive, not because they are not good. They are for sure, definitely, qualitatively very good. But they are done in very low batch. So the low quantity which are issued is the reason why are they so expensive. And here I have the example. So I have sail drives. This is a part, this is a detail which transfers the throttle from the engine to the prop. And I have a sail drive which is SD50, and this is has some illness, so to say, and this has some drawbacks, which results in the sleeping clutch. The clutch in this sail drive is sometimes sleeping. That's why you should do lapping every 500 hours, which is not good. But you can order the repair kit, and there is a guy in Florida who is doing qualitatively very good repair kits. There are good references about it on the market. So I ordered 2 of them. What does this repair kit include? This includes some plastic belts, some tool to hold this clutch like this, and the plastic holding belts, nothing special. You can buy this in every supermarket. Some kind of bolts like this. It's really nothing. It's some rubber. I don't know how it's called, but you understand me. So some hoses. And it's nothing. The most important part are bearings. So for each sail drive you will get 1 bearing like this, or no, 2 bearings, excuse me, 2 bearings like this, and top nut like this, and some other things like stuff like this. Sorry, don't know the name. And some stuff like this to hold it in place. So, this is for 1 sail drive. Please close your eyes and try to guess how much this bearing and top nut and other stuff costs for 1 sail drive. This costs $500. Amazing! I mean, for 2 bearings, for nut and for some couple of plastic bands, you pay $500. And please understand me, I'm not saying this guy is wrong or he's doing the bad product. I'm talking about the situation in general, because every boat is so specific and there are so many different stuff which has to be fixed, and this guy have made only perhaps 500 of these kits, upgrade kits. This costs for 1 upgrade kit, which contains almost nothing, $500. This is the same price as you pay for the airplane ticket from London to New York at the moment. But however, it's completely different story. So I'm talking about the reasons why the sailing is, and life aboard and boating and all the stuff, why are they so expensive? Because of the low budget. Not many things are done, and it's not in the mass production way, so to say. By the way, this guy is very helpful in getting all this stuff and in answering questions, so there is no issue on it. He did a great job. And the last reason why it's worse, and you are almost forced to buy the expensive products on the boat, and you simply don't have other chance. Not only because there are no other products exist, but also because of the labor cost. For example, you would like to exchange your halyard, and you can buy a cheap halyard which costs $3 per meter, and you can buy expensive, or not most expensive, but still a quite expensive halyard which costs $6 or $7 per meter. This rope, which you install, makes a difference by 50 meters, which is $150 difference. But you will spend at least 3 hours installing this halyard, and if you calculate, you would pay again $150 or up to $200 for someone to climb up the mast and to replace that, or for you, because your time also costs something. So it makes no sense for you to buy a $3 rope, because you will have to go upstairs again in 2 years. And if you buy a good quality product, maybe you will go up on the mast in next 3 or 4 years, and this makes a huge difference. So in general, the boat is so complicated and complex system that there are so many parts, and if there will be no good quality, they will break very frequently, and you will spend all your time engaging someone to repair it or doing it yourself. So you are very interested in the end of the day to buy good quality products, not to deal with repairs all the time. So the parts can last 10 and more years. And this is very difficult because the environment is so aggressive on the boat that the parts must be really, really good quality. They must be protected against the salt, protected against the ultraviolet, protected against the wind, protected against the humidity, protected against everything you can imagine. And I have a good example why the stuff from the normal life not always work. So guys, in order you can understand how difficult it is for different substances and different materials to survive under these incredible conditions, like everyday salt, everyday sun, everyday wind and other elements, I take this wonderful 3M isolation tape, and I take this permanent very high quality marker, and what I do, I will just, this called in Ukrainian, it's called piano. I don't know how it's called in English, so it's the special fixation for your ropes. And normally you have some this is the names of the ropes, like this is reef number 1, reef number 2, this is main halyard, and I can mark, let me mark, like this is reef, number, this is number 3, and this is number 1. I know what it is, so I marked it, and let me check this in 1 week and show you what will happen, because normally we get used that the permanent marker is something you put on the isolation tape and it holds forever. Let's see what happens in 1 week and 2 weeks, and you will understand why it's so expensive. Everything on the yacht is so damn expensive. For example, those piano is 10 years old and it's still working. Let's see what happens to this science. Okay guys, 1 week passed by and now I will show you what happened to those markings. Just a second, how to turn this bloody camera. It was doable before, but not anymore. So this looks like already a little bit disappearing. So you can compare 1 week ago. I will put here somewhere the picture of how it was 1 week ago and how it is now. So you see already, I would say 30% of darkness has disappeared on those markings. Let's see what happens in 1 week. Okay guys, there are 2 weeks gone since I put this marking on the piano, and are you interested? Me too. Look at this, what has happened. Just look at this. So 2 weeks and it's almost gone. I would say 60% of it has gone, has just disappeared. So that's why, and we will look at this in another 1 week and let's see what will happen. Okay guys, now this is the 3rd week and we are still in the same place with the same stuff, and look at this. So now you can hardly understand what is written. So in 3 weeks the premium marker, permanent marker on the premium tape was completely destroyed simply by the sun and wind, nothing else. Now you can understand why it is so important to use the quality stuff, because otherwise you will do fixing all the time, every day, fixing something, small things like this on the boat, because everything is just burning, destroyed all the time because of the such aggressive elements. So summarizing, to buying something, either it will be service or product or spare part for your boat, is a lot of thinking and a lot of compromise. Because on the one end, you can buy the things which are not good in the quality but very expensive, which are not good in the service but very expensive, or you will not get anything at all and will still pay for this. And on the other hand, you can buy things which are normal but still very expensive. For example, someone brings the oil filter from the normal shop to maritime shop and will sell it 5 times the price. This is a different story. So what I would suggest, you buy the good quality, well-known, proved market names in the maritime business, paying as low price as you can. This is, I guess, the way. And sometimes if you can replace something not very essential from regular shops, it is also worth doing it. But you have to be careful. And now guys, as promised, the formula which will tell you how much money you would spend if you will live on the boat. And it is very easy but not so obvious, because in the internet you will find so many different opinions. And most of the guys will tell you, okay, well, it's very different because I have found the families who live for $100 on the boat per month, and I found the families who live for $10,000 on the boat monthly. And this is of course truth, but you would like to know how much you exactly would spend living aboard. And I have the answer for it. You would spend exactly the same amount as you're spending now, because this is your lifestyle. And the prices are very similar almost everywhere. Of course, I'm excluding the extreme expensive areas as well as extreme cheap areas. Like, I don't know, some Asian countries might be much cheaper. Also Caribbean, some countries might be quite cheaper. But also some regions in US might, like in California, I don't know, San Diego will be very expensive, or San Francisco, whatever. Or here in Mediterranean, you would have Porto Cervo in Italy, Sardinia, quite expensive. Also Croatia might be very expensive. But generally, if you avoid let's say 10% of the most expensive places and 10% of the most cheapest places, you would stay on the approximate the same level. So if you are in your town, I don't know, $800 to spend for everything, excluding the rent, because it's a different story. You live on the boat, you don't pay for the rent. Marina on maintenance excluded. I will talk about this right now. So you would spend, excluding your rent cost, you would pay absolutely the same, because this is your lifestyle. And if you used to spend $10,000 per month, you would spend exactly the same, because you would go every time into the restaurants, into the very expensive places. You will know and find the way how to spend your money. That's the rule, and this really works. Now we are spending about the same what we have spent it back in Ukraine. And Ukraine, in the price level, is especially capital, the Kiev, was before the war, the average or sometimes even more expensive than the other cities in Europe. Now regarding the maintenance, we have been talking about the maintenance all this time, and I have the formula again, because so many guys are talking in the internet and writing the articles, what would you cost the maintenance the boat? And they say, oh, okay, it will cost you about 10%. Never saying 10% of what? Of the purchase price or of the new boat price. And this is kind of misleading. So, according to my experience, according to what I've heard from the other fellow boaters, you would spend from 3 to 5% from the price of your boat as it was new. So, for example, if you bought the sailboat, which is 10 years old, and you paid for it $100,000, and 10 years back the boat have costed $300,000, let's forget about the cost of money in time. It doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, because we want a simple rule. So you would pay now annually for the maintenance of this boat from $9,000 to $15,000, excluding marinas, because this is 3 to 5% from this price of the boat as it was new, from the $300,000. And another example, if you were buying a second-hand catamaran, which have costed you $400,000, and the boat was 10 years ago new $700,000, you will pay annually for the maintenance from $20,000 to $35,000 for its maintenance, because it's exactly 3 to 5% of the price of the new boat, which was $700,000. Important to know, normally when you buy the boat, you will invest something in it to bring it to the seaworthy level. Maybe the teak is rotten, maybe the ropes needs replacement or sails need replacement. Sure, but you will calculate the 3 to 5% only after you have invested in this boat, after you buy it, have to make the investment to make this boat seaworthy. And after it would cost you annually 3 to 5% from the new price. That's the rule. Now coming to the marina. Unfortunately here there is no precise calculation. And as everyone says, if you spend all time on the anchor, it costs you nothing. If you spend all time in the marina, it will depend which marina and how you pay. If you pay on the daily basis, staying every day in the new marina, it will cost you a fortune, because some marinas cost $200 per day here in the Mediterranean. But normally here, if you pay the marina for the full year, it will cost you from $4,000 per year for 35-footer up to $10,000 for 45-foot catamaran. And this price also varies because in some marina you can get $7,000 for a year for a 45-foot catamaran also. Okay, but this is the reality by the marinas. You never know. It depends strongly on your behavior. So please use this rule in making your plans and calculating your expenses. As you can see, the topic is so huge that I cannot put it inside of one video. So it was all very general. But if you have any questions, please write it in the comments below and I will try to answer. And finally, if you like this video, put the big thumb up for us so we know you liked it. And don't forget to push the bell to get notified because we will rock you with the new videos regularly. Till then, I wish you all the best. Stay with us on Happy Cat Adventure.